I always wanted to be a school teacher, and when I was little, I would line up my stuffed animals in the basement, and I was the teacher. And I really believe that when you do think about where you want to go from teaching, I always wanted to be a teacher. I still see myself as a teacher. I am a teacher. I'm a teacher of teachers. And I think when you get into education, I think the people around you help solidify some of those strengths that you have, and they kind of guide you. And I did have some great leaders that I worked with at the school level that felt that leadership was an area that I should pursue. And I was one of the kids that liked to be the captain. So, it was just natural. But I always found it fascinating to take not only looking at my classroom, but looking at the school as a whole. And I always found that looking at data that way and looking at how to improve your environment and your culture in that leadership role was, to me, fascinating. I'm always up for a challenge, and I do know a lot about the district. I do believe that anytime you're in a situation where times are tough, that's when you have to rely on the relationships around you and the resources around you. We have an awesome community, and I really believe in getting the community involved, and as we spoke of earlier, making sure that people are well informed and seeing where they fit in the bigger picture. I do want to tell you that when I did take the job, Dr. Lowry, the state superintendent, asked me what I thought would be my biggest challenge. And I did tell her that confidence in public education was concerning to me. And it would be my job to make sure that people did remain confident in public education. And that is only done through accountability and through a strategic plan process and having the stakeholders involved. And I think that has to do a lot with the shifts in how we measure what we do. And I think it also has to do with, we are a business, we're a people business, but making sure that we are accountable in the money that we spend and that we're fiscally responsible. And our model with a comprehensive high school, where we actually have a building that has opportunities for students to take advanced placement courses, dual enrollment for Chesapeake College courses, because we have them in the building, or they can actually become certified in a career and technology field and do it all under one roof. That's pretty amazing. And we have a lot of students that are choosing to do multiple things. And I find that to be truly innovative. School is not just the four walls anymore. We're doing distance learning. We're Skyping with other countries in our classrooms. So it is a different time. And so for you to measure yourself, how do you measure yourself versus then versus now? I think that will come in time. I do think we're in a time right now where it is a little fuzzy. And I think as far as making sure that our public is confident in what we're doing, I think we still need to report the assessments, where we are with our SATs, where we are with our informal reading assessments, where we are with our standardized math assessments. Those still are in place, and they can be reported. I still think it's important to measure our graduation rate and our dropout rate against our state rate and national rate. I always say this, when my kids were little, they played the video games, and if they weren't winning, they always pushed restart. So they were always a winner. And that is not a good thing. And so one of the things that we are doing this year, we're piloting what's called a junior seminar. And it's a seminar that we would like for all of our students next year to take before they graduate. And what this junior seminar is a course where you're learning how to fill out a job application. You're learning interviewing skills. What are good questions to ask the interviewer? How do you go to an interview? What are those soft skills that you need to be able to do this job versus this job? The importance of being on time. Study skills that students need. We would also look into personal finance. A lot of kids get into personal finance troubles, especially with school loans, if they buy a car. So this seminar course will be how to navigate the real world in a responsible manner. And we really believe between from the way we're teaching and the expectations that we're putting on the students. And of course, like a junior seminar, a lot of those soft skills will come out and be developed. And I think that's important. And of course, we do rely on parents doing some of that too, because we only have them 6 hours a day. And it is amazing. I mean, our students earned almost over $9 million in scholarships this year. We had kids appointed to different academies, and we have students that graduated as a Rhodes Scholar. I mean, we have kids going to great places for school. They're not having a hard time getting into these schools. So I feel very proud of what we're doing. Now, what I do tell parents, that doesn't happen just by going to school every day. That happens by us working together to make sure that we're helping children navigate the system. Because it is difficult. As an educated woman, I found it very difficult when my first son decided to go to college. It was a lot more involved than I had ever imagined. And I think, as you would know, when I was younger, you weren't given choices. You went to somewhere in state or close by, and now students just have so many choices, so many choices. But I do encourage them, and I do encourage the kids to, when they do the college search, to reach really high, but always have a fallback. So set those expectations high for yourself, but always be realistic with a fallback and have kind of a range of schools. And that way no one's ever disappointed and they feel good in their decisions. Yeah, people don't believe we have, 18 different languages spoken in our homes here in Talbot County. And people are like, that cannot possibly be. And I said, well, I can take you out and show you. But they're children, and they're wonderful, and they're smart. And we take them from where they are. We do the best we can to assess where they are, and then they do thrive. They do thrive. We have kids that there are 2 different languages spoken in the household, plus the child's learning English. And they don't know any different. So they don't see that as a problem. When they're at school, they just pick it up so quickly, so quickly. It is a little harder for the older students, but for the most part, it's amazing what they can learn. And we are very blessed to have some of the resources that we have. We do have some of our textbooks online that we can offer where they can actually hear it in a different language. We can turn that on and turn it off, and we strategically do, because we do want them to learn English, and we do require that. And they are tested. The state assessments are in English. They're not in another language. So it is important that they learn English as quickly as possible. As quickly as possible. We need to improve how we're communicating with the public about who we are and what we do. And I really think that's going to come out in the strategic planning process. I'm going to be going out in the community starting October 21st doing State of the District meetings. And I'm going to give you a press release before you leave. And we are going to start with, who are we? Who are we? And, where are our students? Where are they academically? Where are they socially? What are some highlights of our district? Really share who we are. Where does our money come from? And what do we do with our money? So it's going to be really an open, honest conversation in the community. We're going to have 4 of them, one in St. Michael's, one in Easton, one in Cordova, one in Trapp. And I'm really hoping the community will choose one to come to and get involved, because you're not going to just come and hear a presentation. You're going to come and we're going to put you to work. And we're going to put you to work to create a vision for our school district that we know is the right thing to do for our kids. It's a never-ending process. We will monitor the plan. I'm sure we'll make adjustments, but the nice part about it is we'll have a report every year of where we are in the plan. And I think that's where you get your public confidence built, is really showing that you are working the plan, you're budgeting for the plan, and when people see themselves in the plan, and that is my hope, that every employee and every parent will see themselves and their child in the plan, that's a huge investment that I think people will find to be real successful, and that's when we go from good to great.